Purification of liquid.
Good afternoon, students. I'm so happy to invite you for Zoom class. Today we are going to discuss about pollination, types of pollination, right? Actually, pollination it is a process of transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. That is called pollination, right? It is the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. From anther to stigma. That is called pollination. I repeat once again, what is the definition of pollination? It is the process by which transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma is known as pollination. Actually, pollination which takes place in flower only, right? Let me show the diagram. This is a site where you can see pollination process, right? As I said, pollination, it is a process of transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma is known as pollination, right? You know very well, a flower consists of pollen pods. This is a structure of flower in which you can find the outermost layer is called calyx. It is a calyx. It is outermost layer, then followed by corolla. It is a corolla region. Here we have to concentrate the transfer of pollen grain. Now this is a anther. From the anther, the pollen grains are transferred from the region of anther to stigmatic region. This is a stigma. So actually, stigma is a site of gynoecium in which there is an anther which deposits pollen grains. Right? This process called as a pollination. Actually, this is a flower where you can see pollination. Pollination takes place in flower only. I repeat once again. Pollination is a process by which transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma is known as pollination, right? And next we pass on to types of pollination. As I said, pollination is a process by which a transfer of a pollen grain from anther to stigma is known as pollination. But generally, pollination it is broadly divided into two types. They are self-pollination and cross pollination. Student, this is a flower where you can see the transfer of a pollen grain from anther to stigma as a set. A transfer of pollen grain. Transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. Now, if you take a flower in which you can see the outermost layer is called the calyx. Calyx is the outer covering of the flower. That encloses yellow color part is called corolla or petal. A group of petal is called corolla. And these both calyx and corolla are enclosing essential organ that is called as the androecium. This is the anther. From the anther, the deposition of pollen grain from anther to stigma, that is called pollination. I repeat once again, simply I can say the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. Stigma is the upper part of the gynoecium. Now, this is a stigmatic region or the stigma. Stigma is nothing but when we take a stigma or the gynoecium that consists of following parts. This is called a stigmatic region or stigma, and followed by there is a cylindrical structure that is called a style. Style is the place where you can see the passing of male gamete into embryo sac, and the lower part is called ovary. So why I have drawn the structure in order to understand where the stigma is there. Why? For stigma, it is a region where the pollen grains are deposited. So the transfer of pollen from anther to stigma is called pollination. Now, pollination is broadly divided into two types. They are self-pollination and cross-pollination. Pollination, it is of two types. They are self-pollination and cross-pollination. Generally, it is divided into two types. Self-pollination, it is also known as autogamy. It is also called as autogamy. Second one, cross-pollination. This is cross-pollination. Cross pollination, it is also known as allogamy. Allogamy. I have explained two things. One is self-pollination and another is a cross-pollination. Self-pollination is nothing but transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma that takes place within the flower. Just I like to show you. This is the diagram of flower. You can see a transfer of pollen grain. That means the pollination occurs within the flower. That is called self-pollination. Whereas cross-pollination means the pollination takes place in between two flowers. That is called the cross-pollination. So this is a structure of flower. You can see I have given two flowers. The flower number 1, from which a transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. That means in cross-pollination, there are two flowers are involved. One is whether male flower or female flower, right? So if pollination occurs or takes place or involves in between two flowers of the same plant or different plant. I repeat once again, the transfer of pollen from anther to stigma either between the same flower of the plant or different flowers of various category in plant kingdom. That is called cross pollination, right? As I said, I'm talking about cross pollination, right? Hoping that you can understand, the diagram explains very clearly. Here, flower number 1 consists of anther. Flower number 1 consists of anther that deposits, that means the liberation or the production of pollen grain from anther to stigma. It is going to deposit. It is going to transfer to the stigmatic region of another flower. It may be taken place either same plant of different flower or it occurs the different flowers of various plant kingdom, right? That is called the cross pollination, right? And self pollination is further divided into following types. As I said, pollination may be sub-two things, right? The self pollination, it is sub-following. It can be explained by 3 methods. The one is clistogamy. Clistogamy is nothing, it's a kind of self-pollination in which the floral pods, they never open and they expose to the anther and the stigmatic region, right? That is called the clistogamous. I like to show the diagram for clistogamous flower. This is a clistogamous. Actually, clistogamous can be explained by commonly known family, right? I'd like to give an example. Commonly known family, and one more category I'd like to give, that is oxalis. Oxalis member, right? In which you can see clistogamous. Clistogamous, it consists of 2 types of flower. The first flower is a chasmogamous flower. I like to mention chasmogamous or chasmogamy. So chasmogamy is a kind of pollination in which a transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma within the flower. During that time, the opening of floral parts like calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. Simply you can say calyx is open and corolla is also open, by which the exposure of anther, the pollen grains are liberated from the anther and which are deposited in the stigmatic region, right? A stigma. So these calyx and corolla are non-essential parts, and the essential parts are androecium and the gynoecium. I mean anther and the stigmatic region. So this anther and the stigmatic region are opening and exposing their pollen grains and stigmatic region, right? So this is called as a chasmogamy. Almost in all the members of angiospermic group, you can see almost 95%, 90 to 95% of pollination is taking place by this method only, chasmogamy. So chasmogamy is nothing but it's a kind of pollination in which a transfer of pollen from anther to stigma during that time, opening of floral folds and exposing of the male reproductive organ and female reproductive organ. Hence, the pollen grains are deposited where the region of stigmatic region. That is such a condition is said to be as chasmogamy, in which those flowers are involved in such a manner, they are called as chasmogamous flower. Chasmogamous. Chasmogamous flowers are a kind of flower which are involved in chasmogamy. During that time, as I said, as I explained very clearly, exposing of floral parts such as calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, hence easily the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. That is called a chasmogamy. Right. Now coming to the point. So this Carmelina plant or oxalis plant, they possess two types of flower. One is a chasmogamous flower and the another one is clistogamous flower. I'm talking about, I'd like to point out this is a clistogamous flower in which the floral pods they never open and expose. Simply you can say it is called a clistogamous or clistogamy. Clistogamy is a kind of pollination in which pollination which occurs, but the floral pods they never open. The floral pods are never open, such as there is a calyx and corolla and stigmatic region. They are the floral pods. They never open and they expose towards the pollinating process, right? Such a man is known as a clistogamy. It is also known as a clistogamous flower. So those flowers are involved in this type of pollination that is called a clistogamous flower. These clistogamous flowers are observed or identified, found in case of Camelina. Actually, these clistogamous flowers are produced from the rhizodermal region or rhizome. No, actually, rhizome is a tuberous-like structure in which you can see there is brown color structure of flower. It never opens simply. Calyx or all that because of the floral parts are closing in manner, right? During pollination process, right? This is called a clistogamous flower. Next we pass on to homogamy. I'm talking about the second category of cell pollination, that is a homogamous flower. Homogamy. Homogamy is nothing but both androecium and gynoecium or this male flower and the female flower. They may mature at the same time. I repeat once again, both androecium and gynoecium, they attain maturity at the same time. That is called a homogamy. I repeat once again, homogamy is nothing but androecium, I mean anther and gynoecium, they mature by the same time. That is called the homogamy. For that, I would like to give some example. Homogamous flower. In case of Catharanthus roseus, Catharanthus flower, and one more, Mirabilis jalapa. In Mirabilis jalapa, I mean in Phoroclacma. So both Catharanthus and Mirabilis jalapa, in which you can say the maturity of male and female, I mean androecium and gynoecium, same time. That is called a homogamous flower. Next we pass on to incomplete dichogamous. I'm talking about third category of cell pollination, that is incomplete dichogamy. Incomplete dichogamy. Incomplete dichogamy is nothing but it is a kind of cell pollination process, mode of cell pollination in which both androecium and gynoecium, I mean male flower and female flower, male and the female, which attain maturity in different time. They may attain maturity in different time. That is called incomplete dichogamy. I repeat once again. Both male flower and female flower may attain maturity in different times, right? That means if an androecium or male flower attains maturity very early, and female flower, it will take certain time to attain maturity. Such a manner is an incomplete dichogamy. I repeat once again. The attaining maturity of both simply male flower and the female flower. I like to draw the structure of male and female. Now this is an anther. This is an androecium. Either anther attains very early. This is an anther. And the gynoecium. The gynoecium which attains maturity later, right? Either androecium attains first or gynoecium attains maturity first. So alternatively, they may attain their maturity. Such a condition is said to be an incomplete dichogamy. So they can say the maturation of male flower and female flower in different time. That is called the incomplete dichogamy. As I learned, the upper portion of the gynoecium is called stigma. Now this stigma is a region where you can see deposition of pollen grain from the stigma, right? That is called pollination. I'm talking about, we are dealing third type of autogamous flower or cell pollination. And followed by, you can say, style region. And the lower part is ovary, because ovary encloses ovule. Yesterday we discussed about different types of ovule. Apotropous ovule, anatropous, so many types we have discussed, right? So this attaining maturity simply that we have discussed in the incomplete dichogamy, right? So next we pass on to cross pollination. It is very interesting topic, cross pollination. Now cross pollination, as I said, it takes place in between two flowers of the same plant or different plant, right? That is called the cross pollination. This is a cross pollination. It can be explained by following types. The first type is geitonogamy and second type is xenogamy. I repeat once again. The first type of cross pollination is nothing but that is geitonogamy. Right? The second category is xenogamy. What is the difference between geitonogamy and xenogamy, right? Geitonogamy or geitonogamy sounds of a similar meaning. Geitonogamy the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma in between two flowers of the same plant. That is called the geitonogamy. I like to do a diagram for this geitonogamy, right? This is a structure of plant. You can see it's a A flower. Simply, let me point out. I like to compare and make difference. If it is a A flower, is A, and if it is B flower, right? Between A and B, the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. I mean, A flower and B flower of the same plant. So, pollination occurs between two flowers which are present, which are formed, which are seen on the same plant. That is called geitonogamy, right? So, both flowers are present on the same plant, right? That is called geitonogamy because of the presence of male flowers separately and the female flowers are also formed separately. So, among which between them you can see the transfer of pollen grain. That is called geitonogamy. They can say anther produces simply pollen grain. The pollen grains are deposited. The pollen grains are deposited from one flower to another flower of the same plant. So the flower producing pollen grain is also found in one plant, right? At the same time, you can see another flower also is responsible, is going to receive pollen grain in the stigmatic region. That is called a geitonogamy. And we can say the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma that takes place in the same plant between two different flowers of the same plant. Plant is the same, but flowers are different. Please understand, flowers are different, and plant is the same, right? In which geitonogamy occurs. What is xenogamy? Xenogamy, talking about xenogamy, is simply a transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma between genetically different plants, right? That is the thing, please underline, genetically different. Xenogamy is a kind of cross pollination in which transfer of a pollen grain, I mean, an anther of a flower is formed in one species. If it is formed in one species, right, and the female flower, it is also found in another species. So this is also another species, and which you can see, I mean, the presence of anther in one flower of the species, and the presence of gynoecium. I mean, this is a structure of anthricium, you can see. Anther is responsible for liberation and production of pollen grain, because the pollen grains are going to form, release male gametes. This is a one flower, right, of the species. And second one, the stigmatic region or the gynoecium, or the female reproductive pod is found in another species. So here xenogamy takes place in different species, right? They can say xenogamy is a kind of cross pollination that occurs in between two flowers of different species which are genetically modified, genetically different category, right? That is called xenogamy, right? And next we for some controversies, right? For cross pollination. What are the controversies for cross pollination, right? So due to presence of unisexuality and bisexuality. So there are mainly two reasons. One is a unisexuality, another one is a bisexuality. What do you mean by unisexuality? Uni means the presence of male and female flowers are found separately of same plant or different species. That is called unisexuality. The second one, bisexuality. Bi means two flower, right? So the androecium, the magnesium are found in same or different category. So these attain maturity. That is very good. Bisexuality. Students, I have explained two things based on the controversies for cross pollination. One is a unisexuality, another is a bisexuality. This unisexuality can be explained by the presence of male and female flowers are separately. That is the first category is monoecious. Monoecious means I like to design the symbol for male. This is the male and the female flower. Both male flower and the female flower. I mean, androecium and gynoecium, which are found on the same plant, but different branches, right? That is called a monoecious. I repeat once again, monoecious is nothing but the presence of androecium and gynoecium, which are found in same plant. That is a monoecious, right? What about dioecious? Dioecious. Dioecious is nothing but presence of male and female in different plant. I repeat once again. Now this is a plant in which you can see it's a plant in which one plant you can see androecium, and another plant you can see gynoecium, right? It's a stigmatic region which the flowers you can see, right? This is a stigmatic region. It is simply the presence of male flower and the female flower which are found in different plants, which are not found in the same plant. That is called a dioecious family, dioecious category. This is also one of the reason for cross pollination, right? For monoecious, I like to give some example, right? For monoecious, I like to give some example. The coconut plant, I can say, just example. Coconut plant, I can say. This is a right example for monoecious, in which both male and females are found in the same plant, right? The next dioecious that I can say, for example, dioecious, borosius, right? And Carica papaya, Carica plant, peony, phoenix plant. So they are the example of a dioecious plant, right? So due to the presence of male plant and the female plant are separately, hence it is possible to be occurred cross pollination, right? The next three was on the bisexuality. Actually, bisexuality means the presence of male flower and female flower in the same plant or different plant, but they attain different time for maturation. That is called the bisexuality, right? Bisexuality is a following type. First type is dichogamy. Bisexuality can be explained by following method. First category is dichogamy. And the second category is ergogamy. Ergogamy. And third type is heterostyle. Heterostyle. And fourth one, self-sterility. Self-sterility. I repeat what I say, bisexuality. The bisexuality can be explained simply. Bisexuality means both male and female flowers are attaining maturity in different time or different regions, right? That is called bisexuality. So dichogamy, it can be explained by bisexuality by following method. One is dichogamy, and another one is ergogamy. Third one is heterostyle, and fourth one is self-sterility. So let me take dichogamy. Actually, dichogamy means the development of both male and female part of the flower in different time. Either androecium, which attains maturity. Dichogamy is one of the reasons by which the anther, either anther matures first or gynoecium attains first. I mean, the anther which is going to attain maturity very earlier or gynoecium attains very early. That is called dichogamy, right? So this dichogamy is further divided into two types. They are protandry and protogamy. I repeat once again, protandry is nothing but dichogamy is further classified into two types. The first category is protandry. Protandry is nothing but the attaining maturity of anther very first. Right? Protandry means pro means first. Proto means earlier or first. The androecium, I mean the anther which attains maturity very earlier, then gynoecium develops, right? So that is the thing, right? Please understand, dichogamy is nothing but the development of both androecium and gynoecium in different time. Either androecium attains maturity very first or gynoecium attains maturity first, right? If androecium matures very first, that is called protandry. And if gynoecium, on the other hand, I can say, if gynoecium attains maturity, that is called protogyny. Proto means first and gynoecium. That means the gynoecium which attains very beginning. Then later on, anther is developed, right? That is called dichogamy, right? For that, I would like to show some diagram. Students, please listen. It is very interesting area. You can see the development of both androecium and gynoecium. Here, this is a diagram in which you can find. I'm talking about protandry. This is a type of protandry type. Protandry is something the development of stamen very first. That is called the protandry. I mean, androecium or stamen attains maturity very earlier. Then later on, development of gynoecium, you can see this is called the protandry. Or this type that you can see in helios. And protandry that we can see in helios, right? In clerodendron. Clerodendron. These are the example for protandry. Then protogyny. Protogyny means the development of gynoecium very earlier and the formation of androecium very later. That is called protogyny. Now this is a structure that you can see. I'm talking about dichogamy, the types of dichogamy, right? This is an example of protogyny. First time that we discussed protandry, now it is called a protogyny. No, protogamy is nothing but the development of style. I mean, gynoecium. A gynoecium which attacks maturity very fast. Then later on you can see, when you take a LS of the flower, you can see the gynoecium as it is. This is called a stigma, and the central part of the gynoecium is called style. The lower part of the ovary, that is a gynoecium, is called the ovary, right? So here, this entire structure is a gynoecium that develops very beginning, and later on the presence of stamen, which are derived later, right? That is called the protogyny. This protogyny is observed in case of Aristolochia. I like to give an example for protogyny, that is Aristolochia. Aristolochia. So this Aristolochia is an example of protogyny, right? The next we pass on to heterogamy. I'm talking about another type. This is a heterogamy. Dear students, ergogamy is a type of cross-pollinating agent in which you can see the position of stamen and the gynoecium or a different direction. That is called ergogamy. So both the androecium and the gynoecium, the symbol designates for male flower, and it is a female flower. There is both male flower and female flower which are found, which are originated in different directions of the flower. That is called ergogamy, right? Ergogamy, I can say some example for ergogamy. Gloriosa superba, that is a straight flower. Tamil Nadu straight flower, that is a Gloriosa superba, in which you can see the position and the arrangement of male flower and female flower in different directions, right? This is a structure that you can see. Dear students, you can see it's a male flower. The male flowers are originated in one direction. This is a male flower, and the stigmatic region, the female flower is also originated. This is a female flower. So this male flower and the female flower, which are originated in different directions. This kind of mode of arrangement of androecium and the gynoecium that you can see in hibiscus flower. Particularly, I can say in a hibiscus, Rosa sinensis. One more category, that is a Gloriosa superba. Gloriosa superba. This is a straight flower. Superba, Gloriosa superba. It is a flower in which you can see the arrangement of both male flower and female flower in different directions, right? That is a ergogamy, right? The next we pass on the heterostyle. Actually, heterostyle is one of the controversies of cross-pollination. Heterostyle, the arrangements of style and androecium and gynoecium in different length is called heterostyle. I repeat once again, students, listen. We are dealing last category. That is a heterostyle. Heterostyle is nothing but it is a arrangement of both male and female flower in different length. That is called the heterostyle. Now, heterostyle is a further classified into two types. They are distyle and third tristyle. Heterostyle, these are two. They are distyle, and one more category, that is a tristyle. I repeat, heterostyle, these are two types. They are distyle and tristyle. For that, I'd like to give an example for heterostyle. Right? I have taken diagrams. Heterostyle. This is a structure that you see heterostyle and tristyle. Heterostyle consists of distyle and tristyle. Heterostyle, it is of as it is, and you can see the presence of stamen. Here, stamens are very short, and the style, I mean, stigmatic region is very long. You can see in first category, right? Whereas in second category, the stamens are very long, and the style is very short. So long styling and some style. So you can see there are two types of style. The one is a long and the another one is a short. Long style and a short style. Because there are two different size and shape of the stamen and dimension in a flower. It is said to be a distyle. Right? This distyle can be seen in a primula plant. For primula, you can say an example for distyle. Primula. And one more tristyle, for that I can say passiflora. Passiflora. Or Abutila. One more category I can say Abutila plant. In which you can say this type of. Here, there are three types of style. The first category you can say stigma or style is very long, and some stamens are very long and some stamens very short in nature. So in the first structure you can say the longer exposure of style and a shorter size of stamen inside. And the second category you can say the stamens are very longer than that of style. The style is laid at the center, and just below the style you can see some short stamen. So this is the second category. I'm talking about third category. The style is very short and the stamens are very long. Actually, the stamens which are very, so this kind of structure is you can see in passiflora and. So this is simply something about heterostyle. And next we pass on to the last category. Students, it's very interesting area. Please listen. That is the self-sterility or self-incompatibility. self-incompatibility. Self-incompatibility means either androecium and magnesium which are unable to germinate. So simply the plant releases pollen grain. This is a structure of androecium that you can see in the flower, right? If it produces pollen grain, the pollen grain which are unable to germinate, such a condition is said to be as self-sterility or self-incompatibility, I can say. Simply, the deposition of pollen grain on the stigmatic region, they never germinate or unable to germinate. That is called self-sterility. If the pollen grains are liberated, it is not developed in the anther lobe, but if it is developed, but it is going to unable to germinate. That means there is no germination from where in the pollen tube, hence it is unable to release male gamete with the female gamete. So there is no fertilization is taking place further. So this is something what we have discussed a lot of things, right? So you can see the first structure that we have seen. What is pollination? The types of pollination. Just I'd like to repeat once again. As I said, the pollination, it is a process of transfer of pollen grain from another to stigma, is known as pollination. A pollination is divided into two types. They are self-pollination and the cross-pollination. The pollination takes place in the same plant, that is called the self, whereas cross-pollination that occurs in two different flowers of same plant or different plant. That is called the cross-pollination, right? This is a self and that is a cross, right? And as I said, the self-pollination, it is further classified into following types. They are clistogamous flower, and before that, the chasmogamy. Chasmogamy is nothing but the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. During that time, the flower pods may open and expose for pollen process. That is called the chasmogamy. I mean, the flower pods are open and the stigmatic region and the anthers are closely opened, and the deposition of pollen grain from anther to stigma that you can see, that is called chasmogamy, right? The next, clistogamy. Clistogamy, during pollination, the flower pods never open, but pollination takes place by closing the flower pods. That is called clistogamy. Then homogamy means for the androecium and the magnesium, they attain same maturity at the same time. It is a reported case of Catharus, Rosius, and the Mirabilis Jalapa. The next category, that is cross-pollination. Actually, cross-pollination, it is some pollen types, right? Or allogamy, it is also pollen types. Cross-pollination or allogamy. The first category, gaetronogamy. Second category is xenogamy. Gaetronogamy means pollination occurs between two flowers of the same plant. That is xenogamy. Pollination takes place between two different flowers of two different species, which are genetically different one. And what are the controversies for the cross-pollination? First one is the unisexuality. Second is the bisexuality. For unisexuality, it is up to monoecious and dioecious, presence of male and female that we have seen in coconut, whereas in dioecious that we can see in process and corica plant, right? Whereas bisexuality that you can see, that is classified into following types: digamy, ectogamy, heterosterility, self-sterility. Already we have seen, right? If there is any clarification asked, students. Students, if you have any doubt regarding the topic, ask me. It's time for interaction. If there is any doubt regarding the topic, just try to send us a question to your respective subject teacher, right? Thank you for joining. Before that, I'd like to give an example. I'd like to give some assignment to you, right? Please take down assignment. Let me give assignment to work. Please take down. First one. Define pollination. Second one. What is chasmogamy or what is chasmogamy? The next third question. What is clistogamy? What is clistogamy? And fourth one, what is xenogamy? What is or gaetogamy? Gaetogamy. Last question. What is xenogamy? Right? Or if it is asked, that is a big question, you can get. What is pollination? Classify its types. That is a big question that you can expect in exam, right? What is pollination? And explain its types. Right? This is a question to be expected here. 5 more questions. Students, thank you for joining. Okay. If there is any clarification, ask. Any doubt regarding the topic that we have discussed? The pollination. Anyone? Could you tell me the definition of pollination?
Sir, transfer of pollen grains
From anther to stigma,
to
right?
stigma.
Very good, ma. Then pollination, how many types of the pollination that we have seen?
2 types:
What are they?
self-pollination and cross-pollination.
Very good, ma. Right. What is the difference between self-pollination and cross-pollination? Students, could you answer, please? I have shown the structure. What is the difference between self and cross-pollination?
Sir, self-pollination is transfer of pollen grains from stigma of the same plant.
Very good.
Cross-pollination, the transfer of pollen grains on the stigma different plant.
Very good, ma. Good. Keep it up. Next, students. Will you give an example for ergogamy? I have given 2 examples. Anyone? Or will you mention the types of cross-pollination, please?
2 types of cross-pollination.
Very good. What are they?
Gaetogamy, xenogamy.
Very good, ma. Right. Would you understand about gaetogamy?
Pollen deposits of another plant of same individual plant.
Very good. Very good, ma. Good. Keep it off. Would you understand about a xenogamy?
Genetically different of the pollens of another
Very
class.
good. Good, ma. Right. Then what are the controversies for cross-pollination that we have seen mainly? What are the reasons for cross-pollination? Simply I can say. Okay, what do you understand about dichogamy? Please, could you tell us some few words? Dichogamy. And what are the types of the bisexuality flower?
Dichogamy, anthers, and stigmas mature at different types.
Very good. Good. Keep it off. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for joining. One more flower that we have discussed here. The state flower. Which of the following flower is our state flower?
Gloriosa.
Glorious superb. Right. Good man. Keep it up. Thank you.